For centuries, politicians in this country assumed that in order to win an election, you had to convince voters to vote for you. You had to make their case. That was called democracy. But the defining strategic insight of the modern Democratic Party is that you don't really need to convince anyone of anything. What matters is demographics. You need to import enough people from elsewhere, people who are financially dependent on you in order to live. That's the story of the state of California. That's why California changed. It's why Texas is changing. But it's also happening at the local level all over the country.
Tucker Carlson, a prominent conservative commentator and host on Fox News, has been vocal in his criticism of the Biden administration on various fronts. Carlson's views reflect a broader skepticism towards progressive policies and government actions under President Joe Biden.
America is and always has been a nation of immigrants. Throughout our history, immigrants have come to our shores in wave after wave. Every one of us, unless we're Native American, has an ancestor who was born somewhere else. That's what makes America special. That's what makes us strong. The basic idea of welcoming immigrants to our shores is central to our way of life. It is in our DNA.
One of the key criticisms is the reversal of several immigration policies implemented during the Trump administration, such as the Remain in Mexico policy and agreements with Central American countries to process asylum seekers outside the United States. These policies were effective in discouraging illegal immigration and reducing the strain on U.S. border resources. The Biden administration's decision to halt construction of the border wall has also been contentious. A lack of physical barriers along the border has contributed to increased illegal crossings and made it more difficult for Border Patrol agents to control migrant flows.
Nearly 180,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records ordered deported from our country are tonight roaming free to threaten peaceful citizens. The number of new illegal immigrant families who have crossed the border so far this year already exceeds the entire total from 2015. They are being released by the tens of thousands into our communities with no regard for the impact on public safety or resources.
Trump has also been vocal about the issue of immigration under the Biden administration. He highlights what he perceives as ineffective border policies that have led to a surge in illegal migrants entering the country. Trump points to the reversal of certain border initiatives that were put in place during his presidency, suggesting that these changes have contributed to the current challenges at the border.
This is an invasion. This is like a military invasion. Drugs, criminals, gang members, and terrorists are pouring into our country at record levels. We've never seen anything like it. They're taking over our cities. Under Biden, you have the highest number of illegal border crossings in the history of our country. By far the highest number of illegal visa overstays, and by far a new record being set every single week on drugs and every other lousy thing that's coming into our country. But as soon as we win the election, the momentum of our great victory will immediately begin stopping the hordes of illegal alien migrants who are charging across our border by the hundreds of thousands. Just like 3 years ago, the invasion will end. You know, it ended with us. When we came in, it just ended. We had to do a lot of work, but it ended. We had great people. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, Tom Homan. We had just unbelievable people. If they would have just left it alone, you were setting every record. They took everything we did. They didn't finish the little sections of wall. We had built it. It was there. All they had to do is put it up. They actually sold those sections of wall for 5 cents on the dollar. Can you believe it? All they had to do is put it up. But people will know that I will catch them. We will catch them. We'll Catch them together. We're going to send them back. We're going to send them out of our country.
Under the Biden administration, immigration challenges have been notably characterized by a surge in migrant arrivals at the U.S.-Mexico border. This influx has led to a series of issues impacting border facilities, resources, and logistical capabilities. This surge has overwhelmed Border Patrol facilities, resulting in overcrowding and logistical strains on processing centers. The rapid influx of migrants has strained resources such as shelter capacity, medical care, and processing capabilities, leading to challenges in providing adequate care and accommodations for those seeking asylum. The conditions in which migrants are held while awaiting processing have raised humanitarian concerns. Reports have highlighted issues of overcrowding, inadequate sanitation, and insufficient access to medical care, affecting both migrants and border officials.
That President Biden went to Brownsville, Texas, rather than going to Arizona, rather than going to San Diego, California, rather than coming to Eagle Pass, Texas, which has been the epicenter. What President Trump has seen right here is he's seen how his policies have worked, but he's also seen how he can expand upon those policies once he goes back into the White House. He has seen how Governor Abbott has been able to use his policies to secure this specific area, the epicenter of the last 2 years of the illegal border crisis that we have had to endure. And your agents, President, they are pissed. Border Patrol agents are upset that we cannot get the proper policy that is necessary to protect human life, to protect American citizens, to protect the people that are crossing the border illegally. We want to protect them as well. And we can't do that because President Biden's policies continue to invite people to cross here. Thank goodness we have a governor like Governor Abbott. Thank goodness we have somebody that's willing to run for President of the United States, forgo everything else that he's been doing to serve the American people. President.
Moreover, the surge has caused legal and administrative backlogs in immigration court proceedings and administrative processes. This backlog can delay the resolution of immigration cases and contribute to uncertainty for individuals seeking legal entry into the United States. Additionally, the increase in border crossings has raised broader concerns about border security and enforcement. The perceived leniency in immigration policies may incentivize further unauthorized migration and strain efforts to maintain effective border control.
This is a significant step toward potentially resuming negotiations with Iran and possibly rejoining the nuclear deal. Here's what's happened. The United States has accepted an invitation to attend a meeting that would include the original countries involved in the deal: Russia, China, France, the United Kingdom, Germany, and the U.S. And for context, the deal was struck in 2015 under former President Obama and then Vice President Biden in coordination with those key countries. Now, the goal was to limit Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. It included inspections and restrictions on material. Then, you might remember, when President Trump took office, he pulled the U.S. out of the deal in 2018. He said it wasn't tough enough against Iran. But in the wake of that, the country began to enrich uranium at higher levels than was originally allowed under the deal, and that's according to inspectors.
The Biden administration has sought to revive the JCPOA, which was originally negotiated in 2015 to address Iran's nuclear program. The deal aimed to limit Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. However, the Trump administration withdrew from the agreement in 2018, citing concerns about its effectiveness in curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions and addressing other regional issues. Under President Biden, the United States has expressed willingness to re-enter the JCPOA if Iran returns to compliance with its nuclear obligations. Negotiations have taken place among the parties involved in the deal, including the U.S., Iran, and other world powers.
I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I know them both. I will get it settled. We will demand that Europe pay much more for the cost of defense. You know, we're paying the lion's share to Ukraine. And I keep saying, why isn't Europe paying more? You know, the economy of Europe, if you add up all the various countries, is about the same size as the United States. They've got plenty of money. Why are we paying, and they're paying very little by comparison? They have to equalize, and they have to equalize fast. It's not right. And remember, it's more important to them. We have a thing called an ocean between us. Much more important to them. They have to come up with the money. That means somebody has to ask them. You know, I did it with NATO. I said, you're not paying your fair share. They said, you're the only one that's ever said that. I was the only president. Bush would make a speech. Obama would make a speech. They'd all go and make speeches. And they'd leave, and that'd be it. I didn't make a speech. I said, what are you doing? I looked at the books. I said, we're paying 90%, maybe even 100% of NATO. So we're defending you militarily, and you're taking advantage of us on trade. How does that work? And I said, you have to pay. They ended up putting up more than $430 billion. I remember during a meeting, one of the presidents of one of the European countries stood up, and it was a closed-door meeting. He said, may I ask you a question, Mr. President? Yes. If we don't pay, we're not paid up, and we're attacked by Russia, will you defend us? I said, you mean you're delinquent? You haven't paid? That's right. No, I will not defend you. The next day, the money came pouring in.
Trump has criticized Biden for what he sees as weaknesses in foreign relations. He accuses Biden of being incompetent and corrupt, arguing that these qualities have damaged America's standing on the global stage. Trump believes that Biden's foreign policy decisions, such as negotiating with Iran and failing to address border security adequately, have had negative consequences for the country.
China was afraid of him. Russia was afraid of him. Look what I did to Russia. Nord Stream 2, nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. Nobody in this audience. I'm the only one that knew what it was. It's the biggest pipeline in the world going to serve Europe. And I said, so we're defending them against Russia, and yet they're paying Russia billions of dollars a month for oil. How does that make sense? I ended it. I closed Nord Stream 2. Then they say that I was friendly to Russia. I wasn't friendly to Russia. I got along with Putin. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. But I closed Nord Stream 2, and Putin said to me, if you're friendly to me, I'd hate like hell to see if you weren't friendly. This is not good. He was not happy. But I closed up the pipeline before it got finished, before it got built. When Biden came in, one of the first things he did is approve Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline in the world. And then they say, oh, Trump was very soft. They're full of misinformation and disinformation. That's all they're good at. That and cheating on elections. That's all they're good at.
Foreign policy decisions under the Biden administration have also drawn criticism. The administration's approach to Iran, including efforts to revive the Iran nuclear deal, has been viewed skeptically by some, including former President Donald Trump. These policies have emboldened Iran and undermined America's standing in the region. Additionally, Biden's approach to China and Russia has faced scrutiny, with critics questioning the effectiveness of diplomatic efforts and strategic responses to geopolitical challenges.
200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people.
The Biden administration's economic policies, particularly its massive spending plans and responses to the COVID-19 pandemic, have drawn criticism over concerns about inflation and broader economic stability. One key criticism revolves around the scale of government spending, including substantial infrastructure proposals and multiple COVID-19 relief packages. Such large-scale spending increases the money supply in the economy, which can potentially lead to inflationary pressures. They express concerns that excessive government spending, especially when combined with historically low interest rates, could overheat the economy and lead to rising prices for goods and services. This inflationary worry is compounded by ongoing supply chain disruptions and increasing energy costs, which have contributed to higher consumer prices.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic. Because you didn't think I should have closed our country. Wait a minute.
It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did.
The Biden administration's approach to economic recovery has involved significant government intervention, including the American Rescue Plan, aimed at stimulating economic growth and supporting households and businesses impacted by the pandemic. However, there's doubt about the sustainability of this approach and worry about the long-term implications for fiscal responsibility. Rising energy costs have also been a point of concern, with critics pointing to factors such as reduced domestic oil production and geopolitical tensions affecting global energy markets. Higher energy prices can directly impact consumer spending and business operations, further exacerbating inflationary pressures.
Their cars are being stolen. Who the hell thought of it? I never even thought it was here. I didn't think you had the problem here. You have it all over the country. The lawlessness is unbelievable. But we're going to give law enforcement back their authority. We're going to give it back. Under our leadership, you were safer, your family was safer, your communities were safer, your children were safer, your borders were safer. And your whole country was safer, a lot safer. 3 years ago, we had the most secure border in U.S. history. We built 561 miles of border wall. We got Mexico to give us, free of charge, 28,000 soldiers. Thank you very much. We ended catch and release. We let our great ICE agents do their job. And we deported over 1 million illegals in my very first term, 1 million.
Critics of the Biden administration have voiced concerns about domestic issues related to crime and public safety, particularly regarding the administration's approach to law enforcement and criminal justice reform. One prominent criticism is the perceived link between the administration's policies and an increase in crime rates in certain cities across the United States. The administration's stance on law enforcement, including calls for police reform and support for movements like Defund the Police, has contributed to a perception of weakened law and order. They contend that these policies have emboldened criminals and led to a rise in violent crime, particularly in urban areas.
We will restore law and order to our communities, and I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical, out-of-control prosecutor in America for their illegal, racist, and reverse enforcement of the law. I am also going to indemnify all those policemen that were shaking my hand back there. You better be listening. Police officers, law enforcement, please listen. But we're going to indemnify police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States from being destroyed by the radical left for taking strong actions on crime. They're going to be indemnified. We're going to pay them for their costs, for their lawyers. You know, policemen have to go, in many cases, hire a lawyer to protect themselves. The state doesn't want to get involved. These people are crazy. What they're doing to our country. Policemen are forced not to do anything when they want to, and under the threat of losing their pension, their house, their family, they lose everything.
Calls for stronger support of law enforcement have been a common refrain among critics who advocate for increased funding and resources for police departments to combat crime effectively. They argue that measures like community policing and proactive law enforcement strategies are essential for maintaining public safety and preventing crime. The Biden administration has responded to these criticisms by emphasizing a balanced approach to law enforcement and criminal justice reform. The administration has supported efforts to improve police-community relations, invest in crime prevention programs, and promote accountability within law enforcement agencies. There is a broader ideological divide at play, with critics viewing Biden's economic proposals as overly interventionist and advocating for a smaller role of government in economic affairs. This opposition underscores fundamental differences in views on the appropriate role of government in shaping economic outcomes.
What are these things? Are they good or bad? And I think some of them are bad.
In a groundbreaking episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Tucker Carlson shattered the silence on UFOs, revealing declassified images that sent shockwaves through the skeptics and believers alike. These mysterious sightings, once dismissed as mere fiction, are now at the forefront of serious discussion. Could this be the evidence we've been waiting for? Or is there more to these UFOs than meets the eye? Join us as we explore Tucker Carlson's recent revelation of declassified UFO images. A recent disclosure by American conservative political commentator and writer Tucker Carlson about the accidental release of Project Aqua has sparked widespread interest. This project, known as Kona Blue, is being hailed as a groundbreaking initiative. It involves discussions about the establishment of a program akin to an unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP project. Specifically, the medical division is poised to assemble a small team of medical analysts under the guidance of the chief physician and deputy administrator. Their primary task is to meticulously organize data and conduct a threat analysis based on medical findings. This analysis encompasses various aspects, such as fatalities and injuries resulting from encounters with advanced aerospace vehicles. The significance of this revelation cannot be overstated. It underscores a willingness to acknowledge the serious nature of the situation, including the unfortunate loss of lives. The program's focus extends beyond mere physical injuries, encompassing a range of potential consequences. These include collateral injuries, psychological impacts on family members, and the broader societal implications of such encounters. Amid these revelations, questions naturally arise about the veracity of the information and the possibility of disinformation. Carlson has brought this information to light, and the gravity of the situation is further underscored by the acknowledgement that U.S. servicemen have succumbed to injuries or illnesses attributed to their interactions with these vehicles. This sobering reality is reflected in the number of cases making their way through the Veterans Affairs system, highlighting the real-world impact on those directly involved. As discussions unfold and more details emerge, it becomes increasingly clear that this is not merely speculative or sensationalist discourse. Rather, it represents a concerted effort to grapple with tangible consequences and to navigate the intricate web of information surrounding such phenomena. Carlson highlighted the vastness of the U.S. government noting its immense size with around 2 million federal employees and another 10 million federal contractors, totaling about 12 million people working for the government in a country of 340 million. This scale emphasizes the government's significant influence and resources. He pointed out that discussions about the government often refer to the individuals within it who work on various classified projects. While they can't control certain phenomena, such as unidentified objects in the sky, Carlson expressed skepticism about attributing them to American, Russian, or Chinese technology. Instead, he suggested that these phenomena, which have been observed for thousands of years, might have spiritual or supernatural origins, surpassing conventional scientific explanations. You see, the Kona Blue program was an idea put forth by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. It was supposed to be about collecting and studying materials that weren't from humans. But here's the twist. It never got the official nod or got set up as a real program. It was just an idea that someone proposed. Interestingly, it was mentioned during a review by the Department of Defense's office that deals with strange things happening across different areas. What's even more interesting is that it got delayed. Kona Blue was first talked about on July 2023, right after some big hearings involving David Grush. But guess what? They didn't release any details about it until just last week, in mid-April 2024. It seems someone, maybe Arrow, wanted to keep this under wraps until it suited their public image. Initially, Kona Blue was connected to two other programs called the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program and the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Both of these were managed by the Defense Intelligence Agency. When those programs got canceled, Kona Blue came into the picture. The idea behind Kona Blue was for DHS to pick up where DIA left off, focusing on digging into and studying advanced technology related to aerospace, especially when it comes to stuff that isn't human but biological. But here's the kicker. It never got any money or resources to do any of this. So, it stayed as an idea on paper without any real proof or action, at least according to Politico. This whole situation raises a lot of questions. Why was Kona Blue kept hidden for so long? Did someone want to avoid scrutiny or maybe use it strategically later on? It's curious that it only came out when it seemed advantageous for whoever was holding on to it. The fact that it was linked to other programs that were already doing similar work makes you wonder what exactly they were hoping to achieve with Kona Blue. The Arrow's review was a significant effort to dispel notions of covert UAP programs, leading to a deliberate delay in its release until after the initial assessment. This delay was strategic, aiming to address misconceptions and shed light on the true nature of UFO sightings. Arrow emphasized that numerous sightings over the years were often mere misinterpretations of common occurrences or misjudgments of classified national security projects. However, amidst this clarification, crucial aspects remained unaddressed. The review overlooked key engagements on the East Coast involving drones and their incursions near Langley. Similarly, there was no mention of ADIA, a puzzling omission considering its relevance to real-world cases of interest. Notably absent from the discussion was the Stevensville incident, where an F-16 launch and detailed radar data added layers of complexity to the UFO discourse. One glaring gap in the review was the absence of any mention of nuclear-related incidents. This exclusion left many wondering about the extent of the review's scope and its implications for understanding potential UAP interactions with sensitive nuclear facilities. Despite these omissions, the Arrow's review remains a critical document for those studying UFO phenomena. Its detailed analysis of misidentifications and national security projects provides a foundational understanding, while also signaling the need for further investigation into unaddressed cases and sensitive topics. Looking ahead, the review's sequel is eagerly awaited, with hopes that it will delve deeper into the unexplored territories of East Coast drone encounters, ADIA's enigmatic role, Stevensville's complex radar data, and the elusive realm of nuclear-related UFO incidents. Such expansions would not only enrich our understanding but also fuel broader discussions on the nature of these phenomena and their implications for national security and scientific inquiry. In the March 6, 2024 release of Volume 1, Arrow dedicated a full page to Kona Blue. This report, while offering insights into the historical record of U.S. government involvement with unidentified anomalies, faced criticism for what many perceived as a dismissal of significant cases. However, delving deeper into Volume 1 reveals a fascinating proposal on page 34 regarding Kona's ambitious UAP recovery and reverse engineering program. The genesis of Kona's concept was brought to Arrow's attention through interviews highlighting its link to a sensitive Department of Homeland Security compartment, purportedly designed to conceal the retrieval and study of non-human biologics. Kona's roots trace back to the DI-managed ASAP-ATIP program, initially funded through special appropriations and carried out by a primary contractor, a private defense organization known as DIA. Despite its promising beginnings, DIA terminated the program in 2012, citing a lack of merit and tangible deliverables. However, the program's proponents didn't abandon their ambitions. They proposed to the Department of Homeland Security the creation and funding of a revamped ASAP-A under a special access program, giving birth to the covertly named Kona Blue Initiative. This new proposal aimed to reignite UAP investigations, delve into paranormal research, explore alleged anomalies in human consciousness, and, most ambitiously, reverse engineer any recovered off-world spacecraft. The vision behind Kona Blue encapsulated not just a quest for scientific discovery, but also a strategic move to navigate the complexities of government involvement and public scrutiny. As discussions surrounding Kona Blue gain momentum, questions arise about the feasibility of such endeavors, the ethical considerations of studying non-human biologics, and the potential ramifications of delving into paranormal phenomena within the realm of official government programs. The proposal for Kona Blue initially garnered interest within the Department of Homeland Security, leading to a formal request for a prospective special access program to establish the initiative. However, despite this initial traction, the proposal faced a setback when it was ultimately rejected by DHS leadership. The decision to reject Kona Blue was based on assessments of its merit, as indicated by the proposal package and statements from its originators, Senators Lieberman and Reid. Senators Lieberman and Reid advocated for the establishment of Kona Blue, offering the promise of additional funding to support its implementation. The proposed program's objectives closely mirrored those conducted by the private sector organization Bigelow Aerospace under ASAP-ATIP, aligning with efforts to explore UAP phenomena and potential technologies. Arrow, in its assessment, attributed the proposal's rejection to the advocates behind Kona Blue. These advocates firmly believed that the U.S. government was withholding knowledge and technologies related to UAPs. They saw creating Kona Blue under DHS as a strategic move to centralize all information and technologies related to alleged UAP programs under one umbrella, facilitating greater transparency and access to these technologies. The Oral History Project aims to gather vital information from a group of retired government and intelligence professionals. These individuals, seasoned in their respective roles, hold insights into the whereabouts of advanced aerospace technology and biological samples. The project's focus extends to collating diverse data forms, ranging from written records and reports to photographic evidence and tangible samples. It's crucial to clarify that no extraterrestrial artifacts or life forms have ever been recovered. This fact is reiterated emphatically, emphasizing that such materials were merely speculated to exist by a faction known as Kona Blue advocates, along with their anticipated contract performers. This speculative narrative mirrored the assumptions made within the ASAP-ATP program, an initiative that never materialized into an official program under the Department of Homeland Security. Arrow's perspective highlights a perceived blame game, pointing fingers at a select few individuals within government circles, including retired high-ranking officials from various government and intelligence branches. Notably, Kona Blue's activities were not disclosed to Congress due to their status as a non-special access program, falling short of the threshold for mandatory congressional reporting. However, a noteworthy gesture of transparency emerged when the Deputy Secretary of Defense initiated a congressional notification upon identifying the program. This proactive step, uncommon in similar contexts, aimed to uphold transparency within government operations. AARO's initial communication lays the groundwork for subsequent discussions, emphasizing the meticulous handling of sensitive information. The timing of the declassification, strategically coordinated with the release of a comprehensive report on March 2023, underscores a deliberate approach to information dissemination. Despite limited investigative efforts, AARO's stance remains resolute. No tangible evidence of extraterrestrial origin has been procured. This assertion is juxtaposed against claims from over 40 whistleblowers, highlighting the complex interplay between speculation, official statements, and the nuances of information management within government domains. But is Kona Blue connected to the long-running program David Grush claims the U.S. government runs? Back on July 26, 2023, former American intelligence official David Grush revealed shocking information during a congressional hearing in Washington. This significant gathering, hosted by the House Oversight Committee, unveiled a covert program by the U.S. government spanning decades. This secret program aimed to gather and even reverse engineer wreckage from crashed UFOs. But the most astonishing part was the discovery of what Grush cryptically referred to as non-human beings. This revelation catapulted the topic of alien life into the global spotlight like never before, transitioning from mere science fiction to stark reality. David Grush, the central figure in this extraordinary tale, had previously investigated mysterious phenomena known as UAPs within a secretive agency under the U.S. Department of Defense. From this unique perspective, he uncovered the startling truth. During the hearing, Grush reiterated some of his explosive claims made earlier, this time under oath, adding a sense of seriousness and weight to his words. His assertion about a long-running program to retrieve and study crashed UFOs resonated strongly, leaving everyone in the room astonished. The impact of this hearing extended far beyond Washington, captivating a worldwide audience and fueling speculation about the U.S. government's possession of alien evidence and advanced technology. Despite the intrigue, there was also skepticism, given the monumental nature of the revelation about extraterrestrial life and government secrecy. It's crucial to note that Grush had filed a whistleblower complaint in 2022, tasked with investigating what various agencies knew about aliens and their technology. However, he claimed to have been blocked from accessing key information about UFO programs, leading to a contentious situation. Grush acknowledged knowledge of individuals harmed while the government concealed UFO information. He expressed hope that his actions would bring about more transparency. His initial claims, made public in interviews, sparked intense controversy and prompted an investigation by the Oversight Committee, elevating public interest in the government's knowledge of UFOs to unprecedented levels. Tim Burchett, a Republican congressman from Tennessee, and a key player in the UFO investigation, made surprising statements. He said the U.S. has proof of technology that breaks the laws of physics, and alien spaceships have tech that could turn us into charcoal. These revelations have fueled even more curiosity and speculation. Burchett, in a twist, tried to calm the excitement by saying not to expect green aliens or flying saucers at the hearing. He joked about it but then got serious, accusing government agencies of hindering the investigation. He mentioned obstacles from various groups, including the intelligence community and the Pentagon. During the hearing, Grush claimed the U.S. has found extraterrestrial life forms, including bodies from crashed alien spacecraft. He mentioned that these bodies were not human, according to people involved in the program. Grush hinted that the government might have known about non-human activities since the 1930s. However, during the hearing, Grush was more careful with his answers, leaving some mysteries unsolved. Garrett Graff, a journalist, noticed Grush's careful approach to his claims. He tweeted about it, showing how mysterious the situation was. Burchett and Ana Paulina Luna, a Republican congresswoman from Florida, accused federal officials of blocking their efforts before the hearing. Afterward, Burchett seemed satisfied, supporting Grush's claims about non-human entities. He believed in the existence of extraterrestrial crafts, as he already had this belief before the investigation. The Department of Defense denied hiding extraterrestrial materials, saying there's no evidence for it. Other witnesses at the hearing, like David Fravor and Ryan Graves, shared astonishing UFO encounters. Graves described encountering unidentified aerial phenomena regularly off the Atlantic coast. Despite the excitement, some warned against jumping to conclusions. Grush's claims were based on conversations with intelligence officials, not personal sightings. Skeptics noted similar stories of government UFO cover-ups in the past, questioning the evidence. The hearing left both believers and skeptics thinking about the mysteries beyond our world. The scientific community is buzzing with intrigue and a bit of frustration lately. Why? Well, it's all about the shocking revelations from David Grush about hidden secrets in the Pentagon, evidence of encounters with extraterrestrial beings. In private talks with scientists, it's been described as incredibly interesting. Some even whisper that it might be credible, though that's a tantalizing idea yet to be fully confirmed. These claims have sparked intense curiosity, but also revealed a significant gap in our scientific knowledge. Physicists and astronomers, in discussions with The Hill, shared their thoughts on these revelations. They're intrigued, but also feel limited. They argue that to move beyond speculation, we need solid, undeniable data. The House Oversight Committee has taken center stage with hearings that are both controversial and captivating. These hearings are historic, bringing together even the most divided politicians to explore a once taboo question. Are we encountering beings or machines from other planets? Back in July, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer proposed legislation to push the Pentagon to reveal any information about encounters with non-human intelligence. It's a bold move in a cosmic game of truth-seeking. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. Scientists, cautious about reason, have a saying that anecdotes don't equal data. This is key. These claims are intriguing and compelling, but they're also frustratingly hard to pin down like stardust slipping through our fingers. When Grush's revelations first surfaced, astrophysicist David Kipping from Columbia University, known for his work on finding life on distant planets, expressed both excitement and frustration. Grush's claims were based on years of leaked videos and eyewitness accounts of strange aircraft. These incidents have long interested top figures in Congress and the Defense Department. The New York Times revealed a secret Pentagon UFO tracking program in 2017, and in 2020, the Pentagon released 3 videos showing unidentified aerial phenomena. A follow-up report in 2023 highlighted over 170 cases needing further investigation. Kipping sees something unusual happening, but stresses that we need more than anecdotes to make progress. Melissa Finucane from the Rand Corporation raised crucial questions about the motivations and biases behind these claims. She stressed the need for transparency and independent verification of such claims using publicly available data. David Spergel, leading NASA's UAP advisory team, pointed out the lack of concrete data, emphasizing the need for reliable, testable information. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb added a political angle, cautioning against hoarding information for national security advantage rather than sharing it globally. However, Loeb also noted the possibility of misinformation or hidden agendas behind these claims. He urged skepticism and careful analysis. Kipping highlighted the challenge of distinguishing genuine sightings from misidentifications, noting that humans often interpret strange events based on what they know. This uncertainty makes it hard to gauge the significance of leaked videos or eyewitness reports without a comprehensive dataset. Efforts are underway to gather precise, testable data on UAP and extraterrestrial life. NASA and other institutions are intensifying their research, using innovative methods like space archaeology and interstellar missions. Despite the excitement and the recent unveiling of the Kona Blue program, scientists remain cautious, emphasizing the need for rigorous scientific scrutiny and transparent data sharing to unravel the mysteries of UAP and potential alien encounters in our cosmic exploration. Thank you for watching another episode of Voyager. While you are still here, click the video on your screen to see more mind-blowing videos like this one.